Now, day 2 of today's article starts out with the introduction, synopsis. Now, let's learn a little bit about this word, synopsis. It's spelled S-Y-N-O-P-S-I-S, synopsis, spelled with a Y there at the beginning instead of an I. And it's a noun. A synopsis is a short description of the main ideas or events in a book, play, film, or something similar to these. Another example of synopsis could be, I didn't have time to read the entire book before class, so I read the synopsis instead.
Synopsis, 大意摘要. Here we are reading the synopsis of the story, The Lion King.
Right. Another word for synopsis could also be summary.
Summary.
A shorter word, yeah.
大意.
Now let's see how the synopsis starts out. The article says, an evil lion, Scar, desires to be king. Here, Scar is the lion's name.
Yeah, the bad one, right? The synopsis starts with the evil character, Scar. Next, the synopsis says, to do so, Scar kills his brother, Mufasa.
Now we saw the words to do so here, which is another way of saying to become king, because that's what Scar is trying to do.
To do so, 为了要做这件事，哪件事情呢？也就是 so 所代表的 Scar 想称王这件事情。That's why we can also say to become king.
Right. Now Scar's plan works, but something else really bad happens. The synopsis says, however, Simba, Mufasa's son, believes he's responsible for his father's death, so he leaves home. Now we saw the adjective responsible here, spelled R-E-S-P-O-N-S-I-B-L-E, responsible. This word describes someone who is guilty for a crime, mistake, or accident. The person who is responsible can be blamed because it is their fault. Now in this case, Simba believes he is guilty for his father or Mufasa's death. Now another example could be, who is responsible for the mess in this room? That person needs to clean it up.
Responsible 有责任的 be responsible for something 为某事负责 And when we say somebody hold A responsible for B 某人将 B 归咎于 A 也就是要A 这个人啊对 B 这件事情负责任的意思 For example, we can say my teacher always holds me responsible for anything that goes wrong in class. 老师总是把班上不对劲的事情归咎于我
Even if it's not your fault?
Even if it's not.
Oh, that's not good. Now, Simba leaves home for many years, but the story doesn't end there. The synopsis continues by saying, many years later, Simba's childhood friend, Nala, discovers him in the jungle. Now we see the noun childhood here, which is spelled C-H-I-L-D-H-O-O-D, childhood. Childhood is the period of time during which you are a child. That makes sense? Now here, we're talking about a childhood friend, which is a friend you have when you were a child. Another example could be, we spent our childhood summers at the beach, playing in the water.
Childhood, 童年 After Simba sees Nala again, what happens next?
The synopsis finishes up by saying, along with Nala, Simba returns home to claim his throne and bring peace back to his lands. Now that's a good thing, but let's look at the noun throne here, spelled T-H-R-O-N-E, throne. Now a throne is a special chair that's used by a king or a queen. But it can also mean being in the position of king or queen. So like, if this is Simba's throne, that means that he is the king of all this land.
Throne, 王位 There is a famous show called Game of Thrones. Have you watched the show?
Now I haven't, but I have seen pictures of that throne, and it's pretty scary looking.
Yeah.
Do you like that show?
A little bit,
Okay.
not that much. We also see claim in the sentence to claim something 根据权利要求认领或索取某物 So to claim his throne 继承王位。
Right. Now that we know what the play is about, the box office flyer is going to give us some different information. The next section of the flyer starts out with the introduction, cast. There's a nice short introduction here. This word cast is a noun and it's spelled C-A-S-T, cast. A cast means all of the actors and actresses in a play or movie, not just the main one, but all of them. For example, we could say, Julie is excited to be a part of the cast for the new action movie Kill Fast.
Cast 卡斯，也就是所谓的演员阵容。So this part of the flyer is going to tell us who is acting in The Lion King.
That's right. Now it starts with Jelani Remy, Simba. Remy has performed in shows all over the US. Now, what this means is that a man named Jelani Remy is performing the part of Simba, Mustafa's son.
Mufasa's son. It also tells us about Remy's past acting by saying that he's performed in plays all over America.
Right. So we learn a little bit more about Remy. The flyer says, now he's excited to make his home in New York, where he spends most of his time on stage. So we know that Remy lives in New York and is an actor there, but when he's not doing shows in Australia, of course, which is where Zach is watching The Lion King.
That's right. Famous shows like The Lion King often travel all over the world, which is what's happening in the article.
That's right. So the next actor we're going to learn about is Gareth Zaks, Scar. Zaks has been performing on New York stages since 2003. So here we learned that Gareth Zaks plays Scar, the evil lion.
Yes, and we learn more about his past as an actor too. He's been acting in New York since 2003.
Now the flyer also tells us he especially loves getting into character even if he's taking on an evil role. Now the phrase get into means to start enjoying something or to become excited about doing something. So here, Zaks enjoys playing characters in plays. We could also say, Rachel was nervous at the beginning of the speech, but now she's getting into it because she's more comfortable.
To get into something, 投入享受某件事情. In the article, the actor loves getting into character. 代表这位男演员呢，喜爱投入他所饰演的每一个角色。
Now we also saw the phrase take on. In this sentence, the phrase take on means to accept a role or responsibility. For example, we could say, while Vanessa is away, Adam will be taking on her responsibilities.
To take on a role or responsibility, 接受、承担、从事某个角色或者是呢某个任务责任。To take on an evil role, 接受邪恶的角色。To take on one's responsibility, 承担某人的责任。
Now let's hear about one more character in the Lion King cast. The flyer tells us about Chantel Riley Nala. Riley is new to the theater. The Lion King is her first professional acting experience.
So Chantal Riley plays Nala, Simba's childhood friend.
Yes, it also says that she's new to the theater and that this is her first professional acting experience. Now let's look at the adjective professional, spelled Professional, professional, which means to do something for money rather than just for fun. So Riley may have acted for fun in the past, but for the Lion King performance, she's doing it as a job and getting paid. Another example could be, after practicing for years, Callum is now a professional tennis player.
Professional 在文章当中呢是形容词的意思，专业的、职业的。To go or turn professional 转为职业，可能是运动或比赛的选手。Professional 也可以当做一个名词，代表专业人员、职业选手或者是行家。
Now the last line of the cast section of the flyer says, she hopes to continue performing for many years.
And if she's a good actress, she probably will act for many years.
Let's hope so. But that brings us to the last section of our box office flyer, which talks about prices for the show. The introduction says ticket prices.
And the first line says adult 18 years and above $60 Australian.
That's right. Now we have to remember that we're using Australian dollars because the show is being performed at the Sydney Opera House in Australia.
It's also more expensive for an adult to see the show.
Again, right. The next line of the flyer says senior, 60 years and above, 44 Australian dollars. Now we see the noun senior here, which is spelled S-E-N-I-O-R, senior. It's short for the phrase senior citizen. So a senior or senior citizen is someone who is past the age of retirement, which is usually 65 years old in the US, but in our article today is 60. So for an example, we could say any seniors that eat at this restaurant receive a 10% discount on their meal.
Senior 年长者通常指的是65岁以上的年长者 ，senior 也可以当作形容词来用，可以代表是资深的。For example, a senior worker 资深的工作者。
So seniors don't pay as much as adults, but what about other groups of people? The flyer says student with school ID, 44 Australian dollars. Now we learned about this discount in day 1, where students can get cheaper tickets if they show their ID.
So if you are still a student at school, always remember to bring your ID with you. It's very helpful.
It is. Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we've got to talk about our article today. So let's finish up with our For You Chat question now.